Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So it's Sunday. I don't know if you guys go to church. I haven't been going to church the last, several years. I kind of fell out of touch with it. I didn't really think that I needed to have a building to go to full of old people in order to express my spirituality. And I didn't feel like I needed to go and sit and stand and kneel and go through all the rituals at church in those pews in order to have a relationship with God. I could do that anywhere, right? God is everywhere, right? Or does God just exist at the church? Is it possible for me to have a connection with God? Lowly me. I mean, I'm nobody famous. I'm nobody special. Why would God take even a second of his time to interact with some idiot like you? I don't know. These are questions. Do I have to go to a priest? Is a priest the only one, or your preacher, your pastor? Are they the only ones that can catch a message from a higher power? So I felt like I didn't need the shit, and I've been doing just fine. I actively read and study and watch videos, and I like to learn about and think about spirituality, existentialism. I study Christianity. I've studied many of the main monotheistic religions of the Middle East. I've studied all the philosophies of Asia. I kind of feel like I've been able to wrap it all together into a belief system that works for me. You ever wonder about different religions? Are Christians the only ones that make it to enlightenment, that go to a so-called heaven? There's Shangri-La, there's Nirvana, there's Shambhala. There's all kinds of versions of the same thing, from faiths, from philosophies, from religions that are thousands of years older than Christianity. All of them, though, they all kind of talk about the same type of thing. About this energy out there, whether it be God, or if it's the earth, Mother Nature, or if it's the spirit realm, but there's an energy out there that's guiding each of us individually. Collectively, but individually. You also can have a relationship with a higher power, and that's what I believe. I don't believe that the priest or your pastor or your bishop is the only person in town that is allowed to have a relationship with God. You can have a relationship, a direct relationship, and skip over the middleman. It's just a question of paying attention to the signs and signals that are sent your way. And the more that you get into a spiritual frame of mind, and it's referred to in that way because your brain is segmented off into areas, and different thoughts that you think, depending on what the topic is, will bounce from different parts of your brain. So when you think existentially, you're thinking real high thoughts like that about God, deep meaning thoughts, the meaning of life. Think about death. Think about where you were before you were born. These types of big thoughts that nobody has answers to. That goes to a direct spot inside your brain, and that's worth exercising. I'm all about mind, body, and soul, and trying to be a well-rounded person so I can be as strong as I can be. I don't want the first time that I ever think about God to be when I'm on my deathbed. A lot of people, that's the first time they get real religious. They live a life of sin and crazy life, just kind of giving the middle finger at anything spiritual or existentialist, and being basically atheists. And then when they get on their deathbed, they start praying. When those motherfuckers get up in court and they're looking at 10, 15 years, they start praying. You know what I mean? When the shit hits the fan, when they're waiting for that call from the doctor to tell you if you've got cancer, if that lump, if that's a cyst, or if it's cancer, you start believing in God real quick. Motherfuckers start praying real quick. Don't use those experiences as your only connection. Cultivate that shit earlier. One of the things that we can do in order to be more in tune with a higher power is simply just to be open to different philosophies. Look at it as a research assignment. That's what I did. Just start researching shit. Just start looking into shit. You know what I find interesting about Christianity is the whole idea, and you know, in the Jewish religion, they have this also. There's an idea of faith. Now, some people think that faith is the actual belief in a mysterious God that never reveals themselves, and can you believe in something that may be a fantasy? That's a diversion of the term faith. When you're talking about faith, the way I see it is there's points in our lives when we may receive guidance. We may need it. We may not know what to do. We may not really have life figured out as well as we thought we did. And there's just various times in our lives when shit can get really hard. We may be up against a brick wall and just not really see possibilities or options. We may be thinking that we're navigating well and have a plan, but that doesn't work out right. Something else works out instead. We didn't see coming. When you get into that mode where you're trying to navigate life and you just really don't know where to go anymore and you're kind of at a loss. I mean, there's that prayer, when my father and mother forsake I, may the Lord take me up. And that's kind of the same thing where when you don't have any guidance on this earth, your parents are typically, at least as children, maybe less so as we get older, but as kids, certainly for most people, your parents are your guides. People use their parents. I'm 50 years old, I call my mother once a week, and I'm always bouncing ideas off of her. So sometimes that, for some people, that never really ends. But they're just humans, they're just mortals. They're not perfect, they don't know everything. And sometimes we need answers that our mortal support system can't really give to us. And then what do you do at that point? Some people choose to seek a higher power. Some people choose to have a certain amount of faith in a higher power to guide them. You know, I've been kind of doing this with my books. I'm not exactly sure the route that I'm going to go with publishing. I'm going to publish. I just don't know if I'm going traditional route or self-publishing. I've got a lot of voices in my ears from, I know, many published authors who are successful published authors, and they're telling me one thing. I know a lot of people who have self-published, and they're telling me another. So I'm in this kind of conflicted mode and just not sure really where to go and what the best advice is. And all I do know is that I'm going to continue to write these books. That's the calling that I got. Just keep writing is the message that I hear in my head when this dilemma comes up, when I get anxiety over what direction should I go and I don't know what choice to make. I just say, you know what? I'm going to have faith that whatever higher power is guiding me in this game we call life, that they're going to be able to present the opportunities to me when it's necessary, present the right choice to me. It'll be obvious to me when it's necessary. I'm not going to worry about the details. I'm going to continue creating with passion, creating my art. I'm going to keep writing these damn books, just like I was told to. And I'm just going to let the universe, let God figure it all out from there. You know, sometimes we have experiences in our lives that we really, put it the other way, we have experiences that change us and can reward us that we never saw coming. A lot of it has to do with faith. Do you have the faith to navigate your path, to go through the unknown? Not having a plan that's solid, not being a know-it-all, not having it we like to have everything figured out, especially us guys. And if we don't have it figured out, we'll pretend to. We'll fake it until we make it. But sometimes you just have to release that shit to a higher power and let a higher power take the reins. You'll know that you'll make it. You don't know how, but it'll happen. Sometimes we get tested like this. And those tests may take you in different directions that you don't see really how this is helping. You may question, geez, you sure you're bringing me in the right direction? It's important to just continue with that faith and push forward. Really pay attention to those sensations and feelings and those inner voices that you may have that deep down might be a quiet voice. You have to learn to listen to it more so it gets louder. Those are the directions, the guidance of the universe. That we all have that within us. Usually our mind chatter drowns that kind of bullshit out, but your intuition, you have that gut feeling. Start to pay attention to that stuff more. And if your gut feeling, even if you don't really know how something's going to end, and it just tells you to keep moving forward into the mist, into the fog, go down that foggy road, you go. You trot along, and you know that no matter what happens, you can handle it. And if you can't handle it, the higher power guiding you can. I don't know. I hope some of this is helpful. Thanks for watching.